The first faint fingers of light creep above the jagged desert hills, touching the golden sands with the promise of a new day. In the east, a haze of heat shimmers over the great river Nile, its waters still and dark as night. Near its bank, nestled amongst tall reeds, a scattering of shelters stand, each made of interwoven reeds and branches, concealing the slumbering forms within. Slowly, the first workers begin to stir. Their bodies are lean and hardened by the endless sun and toil, their limbs wiry and strong from years of labor. They rise, stretch, and yawn, revealing teeth stained red from the juices of the date palms they feast upon. Each man carries a simple set of tools, a basket of sharp stones, and a heavy hammer made of hard wood or stone. Some also carry thin reed ropes, their ends frayed for tying or weaving. They leave their shelters, blinking against the harsh glare, their shadows thin and stretched in the morning light. Their destination is a massive limestone quarry nestled in the crook of two hills. Here, towering blocks of stone, some as large as a man's entire body, await discovery. The workers arrive in small groups, talking in low voices, their words lilting like the gentle sway of the river Nile. And then they begin their work. Taking up positions at the base of the towering limestone cliff face, the workers wield their stone hammers, delivering sharp blows to the rock. Chunks splinter away, tumbling down the face and crashing onto the waiting ground below. The echoes of their work rolling across the empty valley, mingling with the distant cry of ibis birds wheeling overhead. Some workers find fissures in the rock and wedge sharp-edged pieces of wood into them. With grunts of effort, they rock the stones back and forth, coaxing them loose and sending them clattering down. Others move through the growing piles of stone, searching for useful blocks, selecting those shaped naturally by the elements into rough cubes. A few workers kneel beside the river, using long blades to cut new ropes from the papyrus reeds growing along the banks. These will be used to drag the massive stones away from the quarry. The men weave the strands together, tying them in tight overhand knots. Once completed, the ropes are tossed onto waiting piles ready for use. Soon, the men gather around the largest of the fallen blocks, their shadows shrinking as the sun climbs higher in the sky. Each man grasps an end of the ropes, bracing his feet wide apart, muscles corded beneath his taut skin. With a grunt of effort, they pull as one, guiding the massive stone towards a sled made of logs. The workers shift positions, taking their places in teams of a dozen or more. Again, they grip the ropes, anchoring themselves to the ground with their feet, digging small furrows into the parched earth with each pull. The massive stone groans as it slides over the log rollers, inching forward, the pace slow and relentless. Beads of sweat trickle down their faces, mingling with the dust that coats their bodies and turns their skin pale. Encouraged by their leader, the workers strain and heave. The stone picks up speed, surging forward as the teams fall into a steady rhythm. The pace is maddeningly slow, but the men do not falter. They pull, heave, and pant, their breath misting in the growing heat. Finally, the massive block reaches the edge of the sled and is guided off, crashing to the ground with a deep thud. The workers stand, panting, wiping the sweat from their brows with scraps of cloth. Then they turn, gripping more ropes, and head back to the quarry, where the endless work waits. Near the river, women squat in small groups, weaving new ropes from the long papyrus reeds. Their nimble fingers twist and knot the strands together, creating strong lengths of cord used for hauling. Nearby, children fill clay jars with cool water from the river, then splash it onto their faces, giggling as the cold water wakes them from the heat. In the distance, a hunter returns from the dry plains, a fat goat slung across his shoulders. He walks steadily, ignoring the sting of thorns that catch at his sandals. He reaches his companions and announces his success, his voice raspy with thirst. As the morning progresses, more workers arrive at the building site. Amongst them are women carrying baskets filled with loaves of bread still warm from the ovens. Fish caught in woven traps by men in the river mingle with the goat, soon roasting on wooden spits above the fire. The air grows thick with the scent of charred flesh. The workers gather around the fire in small groups, tearing flat pieces of bread and dipping them into bowls of crushed herbs. They eat quickly, then rise and return to their tasks, stretching their cramped muscles and preparing for another round of labor. They hurry now, eager to complete as much as possible before the sun climbs too high and the heat becomes unbearable. Teams race to finish wrapping ropes around massive blocks, racing to finish dragging them towards the construction site. There, on a ledge high above the ground, stone masons crouch, chipping rough edges smooth with copper chisels. Each swing sends tiny sparks flying, glinting in the growing light. Their sharp eyes scan for flaws and imperfections, smoothing and shaping until each surface is flawless. Below, other men mix mortar by grinding gypsum and water into a fine powder. They plaster the crushed material into the seams between blocks, working high above on the pyramid's growing peak. These men apply the final touches, shaping the limestone blocks into perfect right angles, forming the pyramid's sharp, unblemished crown. Each movement is mirrored across hundreds of bodies working as one. Everywhere, stone meets stone, rope strains and whistles, and the rhythm of labor repeats endlessly, cutting, dragging, lifting, setting. From the base to the peak, the process is seamless, efficient, and unstoppable. The camera lingers on a single worker, his face streaked with grit, his teeth clenched as he braces against the weight of the rope. Veins strain beneath his taut skin as another block inches upward, joining its brethren on the pyramid's growing frame. He looks up for a moment, squinting against the bright sun, then returns to his task. His breath coming in soft pants, his muscles corded as he fights to keep the rope tight. In the distance, a woman pounds grains with a heavy pestle inside a hollowed-out stone basin. Fine flour drifts into the air like pale smoke, catching in the rays of sunlight. She stops occasionally to sweep the excess powder onto the ground, then resumes her work, her arms growing tired. Nearby, children roll out flat discs of dough, placing them carefully onto hot stones heated beside the fire. Bread rises quickly with the heat, eaten almost as fast by waiting workers. Above, the pyramid grows slowly higher, its angles sharp and defined. Already, its shadow stretches long across the desert floor, marking time with every passing hour. Oxen drag bundles of timber to repair damaged ramps. Men pound wooden stakes into the sand, securing them firmly in place with heavy blows of their stone hammers. Ropes stretch taut over wooden pulleys, creaking under the weight. Stone masons climb steadily, hauling themselves higher with ropes, guiding massive blocks into place atop the pyramid's growing peak. At the summit, they shape the final stones, crafting the pyramid's flawless crown. Each level completed, the workers pause to catch their breath, wiping sweat and dust from their bodies, drinking deeply from clay jars filled with precious water. But their rest is brief, and soon they resume their labors, hauling, carving, stacking and fastening. The white limestone glistens brightly, reflecting sunlight so intensely it can blind the eye. Workers shield their faces from the glare, squinting as they scramble around the dazzling peak. On the upper levels, the air grows cooler, the wind whipping across the open sides, carrying whispers of the desert's eternal solitude. Here, the workers pause only briefly to wipe dust from their faces, take sips of water, then return to the rhythm of labor. The men and women toiling here come from all parts of Egypt, united by a common purpose, bound together by the sweat of their brow. Their days begin and end with the rhythm of the Nile, their lives woven tightly around the growing monument. Children born into this world mimic their fathers, stacking small stones into crude pyramids, their laughter mixing with the thud of real blocks falling into place. Their tiny hands grasp pebbles, imitating the strength of the men. Men mend broken tools, sharpening dull edges on flat stones, the metallic ring echoing through the night. Beside them, others sharpen their copper chisels, preparing for the next day's work. The night is filled with the sounds of labor, the scrape of stone on stone, the creak of ropes, the crackle of fires, and the constant cry of birds wheeling overhead. It is a symphony of industry, a chorus of determination, a testament to the endless cycle of toil and creation. And as the last embers fade and the stars fade, the pyramid stands silhouetted against the inky sky, a silent sentinel guarding the secrets of a vanished world. The workers sleep now, their dreams filled with visions of towering heights and endless horizons, their bodies weary, their spirits unbroken, their purpose unwavering. For they are the builders of the pyramids, and their work will endure for all eternity.